Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video, and for this one it is Interstellar, which is created by Funai. Now this is an extremely early Laserdisc game. This came out in 1983 and I believe this may have actually been the first actual interactive Laserdisc game, insofar as you are playing the game while the Laserdisc footage is played. Plus, as you can see, a Laserdisc explosion takes place when you're hit by the enemy ships. There was a Laserdisc game that was developed and indeed released before this, Quarter Horse, but that was just a horse racing betting game, and the actual Laserdisc footage there, you simply just watched a horse race. There was no actual interaction involved when the Laserdisc footage was being used. You just sat there and watched it. Prior to that, you were just choosing how much you were going to bet and on which horse, and that was all done on graphics that looked like something that an Acorn Electron had dished up. So this one, I would say I'm open to correction on all of this, but I'm pretty sure this game predates Dragon's Lair. It certainly predates Astron Belt. So this really was, at the time, something mind-blowing, even though, as you can see from the attract mode here, it's quite simple. You know, there's certainly nothing here to rival Astron Belt, but nevertheless these visuals on an arcade game in 1983 were considered quite spectacular. So alright, let's get a game underway and we'll show you what this is all about. So quite a nicely drawn intro. So here we go with the game proper. Now, as you've seen, the Laserdisc footage only provides the background. It's not actually interactive, although when you lose a life, the explosion that we get is most definitely you know, Laserdisc footage. There's no two ways about it. So the game starts off quite simple enough. In fact, you'd be forgiven for thinking you were playing a version of the Commodore 64 game Beamrider. And believe me, actually I say Commodore 64 was originally Atari 2600. But, you know, thinking, oh, hang on, I'm playing Beamrider, that's not necessarily a bad thing, that's a great game. So that's stage 1 done, into stage 2. Now what you need to do, yeah, is destroy those two things that were blocking your shots. To aim in a different direction, you push the joystick up or down, or in my case push the cursor keys, and away you go. Now you can see this level, it does rather remind me a bit of Triad, insofar as it's like 3D Galaxians. These things that are coming towards me you can't hit, so the only things I can actually shoot are the alien enemy ships which are flying past. But of course once they reach a certain altitude, which is not very high, they're out of range. So this level actually takes a hell of a long time to actually get through. In fact, you spend a lot of your time actually avoiding the enemies rather than being able to actually shoot them. So now we have these like enemy tank things coming towards us that are firing shots at us, as well as the enemy ships, or yeah, the alien vessels or whatever that are coming along from the background. So in that regards, it is still playing a bit similar to Beamrider. And as I've said already, that is by no means a bad thing. You know, Beamrider is a decent game. So let's get on with the review part then. The graphics on the Laserdisc footage are pleasant enough. I mean, they're certainly not terrible, but compared to later, yes, I'm ready. Compared to later arcade or Laserdisc arcade games, they are quite conservative. But I mean, I think they look pretty good. It's just a shame that for the most part they are just backgrounds. It would be great if there was some more interactive footage like there with the explosion. But nevertheless, 1983, and they got the Laserdisc explosion there, so it looks fucking fantastic. Now, as far as the overlay graphics go, I mean, again, you're looking at, you know, 1983 style gaming graphics. They do the job. They're not remarkable. They're not awful. I've certainly seen far worse. Of course, Bega's Battle being the prime example. The sound effects are pretty dreadful. You know, there's no doubt about that. The sound that your ship makes when it fires is rather irritating. But and the levels, I think, are fine. There's a good amount of variety. You know, it's not just the same thing time and time again. The game is quite challenging. This is by far the best I've ever done on this game. I think that's my last life. Oh no, I've got one life left. So yeah, oh fucking hell. I didn't even get a chance to start. So yeah, the game, I think, yeah, it's challenging, but it is pretty good despite, or maybe because of the fact that it is quite simple. It doesn't save your high score. Mind you, it might save the high score at seeing as I've got the very top score there. It might save that one. Alright, well, we'll have one more go at this. So, although it's not the most sophisticated of Laserdisc games, hardly surprising, seeing as it was the first one to actually, you know, have the gameplay taking place at the same time as the Laserdisc is running. So it was very much sort of like almost a prototype Laserdisc game. It's perfectly playable. It's pretty. It's quite an enjoyable little blaster. Nothing too sophisticated about it, but it's, as I say, it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I do quite like it. So I will score this game 7 out of 10. And I think if you know, grab the old Daphne emulator, this one is well worth having a bash. So right, well, I think that's the review done. So let's just see how well we do here. Not very is the answer. Nearly made it level 2 without losing a fucking life. Oh fuck it, I wasn't even watching what I was doing then. Well, one thing is for sure, I am not going to do as well on this go as I did on my first one. Not all that surprising really, because that go was the best I've done on this game ever. and by a hefty margin at that. Oh fuck it, I knew I wasn't going to make that. There you go, that go was, well, a lot quicker. That was shit. Alright, so there you go, that is, no point putting my name in because it's not going to save, and it was a shit go. So that is Interstellar, 7 out of 10, not a bad little game. So yep, that brings this review to an end, and we will see you at the next one.